So I want to open up the phones because there were a lot of people yesterday that want to talk about Bernie Sanders, Bernie people. And I need to understand y'all, 866-801-8255. Because y'all move in a way that feels cultish. And I'm going to say that out loud. So call at me, whatever. I have no agenda. I don't like Bernie Sanders, not because of anything personal. I had the opportunity to watch him for 5 years now. Yeah. And what I see is a man that's stuck in a particular ideology. I'm not saying he didn't march with King, but that was 50 years ago. I'm saying racially, he's from a state that has no culture that reminds me of my own. And the things that he says are insulting when he talks about black people. To me, that's my opinion. All of this, you must be bought out by no.
Oh, so you must be a corporate shill.
I'm a corporate something. Right.
Oh, okay.
Listen, come on, call up. Somebody threatened to call me on YouTube. 866-801-8255.
Wait,
I'm here for it.
Do they know it's a call? People call in all the time.
I'm going to call your show. Call my show. Because here's the thing. If Bernie Sanders is the nominee, I'm voting for him in November.
Yes.
Because I'm mature. I understand what's at stake.
And we vote strategically, not by the heart sleeves that we cry and bleed upon. We can be critical and strategic at the same time.
I will vote for the man if he's the nominee.
Yeah.
But he's not my choice. 866-801-8255, because I promise to talk. If y'all call, I'm here. So let me see. Where should I go first? Al in Virginia. Welcome.
Hey, Karen. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I just want to talk about Bernie Sanders. I'm with you, sister. Bernie will have to be the last man standing for me to vote for him. But he's not the one that we need to be throwing our votes behind in this primary, because he is sitting up there. He keeps running out here, throwing out all these things about what he's doing, what he wants to do for black people. But he's been sitting in Congress, between Congress and the Senate for the last 20 to 25 years.
Facts.
Where legislation supposed to be written. He hasn't done anything, but now he wants to make all these great programs and plans for African Americans and people of color since he wanted to be president. But black people, please don't get taken by the okie doke.
All right. Well, I agree with you. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. The okie doke. I hate the okie doke.
That's I hadn't recalled. The caller reminded me of the fact that when you are a senator who has served for an extensive period of time, introducing legislation.
How many years? Has it been 30 years, Miss? 30? No.
Part of your job is to introduce legislation that is going to center the issues that you care about, that you think need to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. It is curious to me about, I would be interested in seeing what legislation he had introduced that would target black communities or be black community targeting adjacent. I think that's always a nice additional thing to look at, because you do have some people who don't have a lengthy legislative history who are also running. So that's additional good data that people should be taking into account.
What percentage of his constituents in Vermont are black?
Any? I don't know. But when you're at
0.3.
Well, but my mind would say if I am a legislator in Congress, not in my state, but I am in the federal Congress, and I have the ability to impact or design legislation that could impact people across the country, regardless of the presence or lack thereof of black people or brown people in my particular state, that is a position of power that I sit in. I would just, again, be curious as to see what type of, and I don't know what he has done in the past as it pertains to black issues, but I would be curious to see what type of legislation he had introduced and or co-sponsored and or signed on to that would have been specifically targeted towards the needs of black people.
Well, again, people are elected to Congress. Let me correct myself. It's actually 1.4% of the population in Vermont are black people. That is a decrease of 0.3% over the last time in 2010 when the population, because the census does, that's one of the things that the census does as well.
Yes.
And so you work for the people that send you to Congress. So why would he have a black agenda with 1.4% of his population, with 94.2% of his population being white?
But that's why I said a black agenda or an agenda that's black adjacent, right? So poverty.
Why would he have one though?
Well, you got poor people in your state. If you have issues that are targeting poor people.
Most black people are not poor.
Yes.
So a black agenda cannot start with poverty. And it cannot start with prison reform, because I think this is my problem that I have with him. And while I understand these are issues that dramatically and disproportionately impact us, to do that tells me that that's how you see us, as poor and in jail. And that's not the sum total of blackness. It's not even close.
Healthcare, we know he's been active on. And I'm not about to defend him, but I just want to
think about we should be fair.
Healthcare he has been active on. How have the issues that he championed via healthcare, how have they impacted the black community? Because you're going to have many people. Klobuchar, she also does not come from a state that has a whole host of black people in it. Although she was a prosecutor, and I hope people keep the same energy they have for Kamala with Klobuchar, but I haven't seen that yet. Buttigieg is not coming from a place that has an inordinate amount of black people, but what have been the policies that have some universal appeal that would have a positive or negative impact on black communities? Those are the types of research things that I think people should be doing when we get this close to the primary season.
I want to take a different stance. I'm not going to ask you what you've done. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do, because I'm voting for you.
Well, now you're talking like an educated voter.
No, I'm talking like how we should be talking.
But most of us
I don't really care what you've done.
Yeah.
Not what have you done? What have you done for me lately? But also, here's what you're going to do. What you're going to do if you want my vote is this, this, and this. These are the three things that you're going to do if you want my vote. So I need on record right now publicly that you're committed to doing this, this, and this. Whatever those thises are, we need it in writing, and we need you to publicly state that you're committed to these three items.
So you see how people right now are fanatically attaching themselves to the person that they want to support. So you have people who are supporting Bernie, and they are rabidly in support. People who support Biden. I was going to say rabidly in support. Strongly in support. I don't know if anyone is rabidly in support.
Ain't nobody rabid. Not even his Botox person. His Botox person took a day off. I was like,
but what you're talking about is what we didn't do even with President Barack Obama. We did not say, here's what we want you to do. We said, I love him, beautiful family,
because he had a message, but he had a message and inspiration, and he tugged at our spirits.
Right.
All Americans.
Right.
Like all Americans leaned into the Obamas.
Right.
He had something that was magical.
Yes, that's been missing.
Absent of that, we don't need magic.
Right.
What we need are people that are going to do what they say they're going to do, but we also need to have the fortitude to tell them, because we're in control. It's our vote that they want. Right. Somebody said, yes, was it Drew or somebody that was here yesterday said, when do you go to the store and pay money and get nothing back?
Oh.
When does that happen?
We do vote on credit.
Yeah,
we tend to vote on credit.
But we've done enough
of
that.
Regardless of whether you have the inspiration-driven vote or the troll bot-driven vote, either of those spaces, neither of them have anything that demands this is the three things that you're going to do. And we talked before about Randall Robinson. Randall Robinson ties in his book. He says if all black communities were to crowdsource 10 key things that anyone who wants our vote has to have a position on, you better believe we would be seeing some things happen when it comes to post-election wins.
All right, this is not popular, but there's prison reform because Kim Kardashian asked for it. Yeah. 866-801-8255 from a narcissistic president that wants to be liked. He can be manipulated and used in a way to help us as well. But no one's willing to do that, are we? Let's be intentional.